Okay, we have three sets of targets, three types of targets that we're going to go after here. The first one is really easy. The folks we're already connected to. We want to engage the folks that we're already connected to on LinkedIn and just say hi. Been a while since we talked. It's the lowest hanging fruit there is. And that conversation goes kind of like this. Been a while since we've spoken, whatever. In my case, I want to give people a little bit of state of the art. If they like, you know, do a 30-minute call, here's schedule a call right down here. Really easy. That's the lowest hanging fruit there, these folks you're already connected to, because you can freely send them a message. There's all kinds of things you can do. So, so that's what that message looks like. The next thing are folks that we should be connected to, but we're not. I'll bet that all of you folks here, you're not all connected to Ben on LinkedIn, but you should be, don't you think? So Ben would be in this category of my existing contacts. Well, how many other Bens are there that I should be connected to? People that would feel really bad if they got a message that said, "Dear Ben," and said, "My name is John." Yes, Ben, I know, we golf together, or whatever. So you want to avoid those uncomfortable situations of reaching out to people that you already know with language that sounds like you don't. And it's really easy to do. Here's my situation. If these are existing contacts and they should know you, don't even send a custom invite. Just click connect. Connect. Make it easy on yourself. There's no reason whatsoever. You're not putting them on a campaign. You're not starting up something. You're just making sure that they don't get an uncomfortable email that puts you both in a situation. Okay. So just not even the generic invite that says, "Welcome to join my network." Just the connect button and go, connect and go, connect and go. All right. So you find these people all over, right? Your business card piles, I got them all over here, but all my business card piles here have all been invited, or I've chosen not to invite them. It's one of the first things I do when I get business cards. I do it even before I leave the event. Do you know how I really wow someone when you invite them to connect at an event and they'd go, yes, and they connect right there. I mean, I end up talking to those people at conferences, but I'm in the business. I get that. I'm in the business a little bit. But when you've got these names and all, it's a little hard sometimes if you've got a common name to be able to find those folks. So you might need to add a little bit more to it to find some of these common folks. Okay, so we got our folks here on our lists out there. We're going to find them. We're going to invite them. But sooner or later, we got to start now. I'm the Amway guy, and I'm already selling to all my neighbors, all my friends. Now I got to find strangers, okay? People that I don't already know, not low-hanging fruit anymore. This is where I'm going to show you a process and a system called the time system. And the time system breaks down this process of systemizing all into something that makes it really easy to understand and do. It really does. The time system finds targets, the searches that are as good as we could possibly get, all the right words and all that in, great list. Then we scrub that list. We include just the folks we want. We're going to kick out the folks we don't. We're going to send messages to people, and the ones that respond, we're going to engage in conversations, going to put a little data in our CRM system. This is how it works, kind of from beginning to end. So the reason it's so powerful is there's a long-term value to this. You know, LinkedIn connections are worth something long-term, especially really good ones. A database, wow, that's even nicer. If you ever sell your company, the database goes with the company. It's more valuable for someone to buy if you've got more data, a database of customers. If your employees, by the way, are taking their database with them because their LinkedIn is going with them and they're not leaving any of that data behind, you know, you might want to rethink that a little bit. So I made the case for Sales Navigator. I made a pretty good case already. Let's keep going. So I want to identify, because we're going to need Sales Navigator for what we're doing here. So I want to show you what the basics are of a campaign. A campaign are people we want to find, right? You know, right? Just the right folks. We're going to invite them to connect after we find them. We'll send them some messages after they connect. We'll deal with the folks that respond with a nice message or who knows what. However we respond, we'll go over that. We'll do responses and stuff. This is called it. So later on when I say, who does it? Or what is it? This is it. Finding new people, connecting, messaging, responding, that kind of stuff. This is it. So I'm not going to repeat all 4 steps. We're just going to plug in it later. I said it started with targeting. So you cast a pretty wide net at first when you're doing searches out there to find what the possible size of that audience is. Okay? And then you apply a few more criteria to reel it in a little bit. So it's a smaller audience. Okay. So we want not the big part, we want just the folks that we do. So it's good to know how big your gross audience is, but then you got to refine it down to the folks you want. And there's 2 categories of connections. Folks you're really connected to, and then what they call second and third level connections. I can't invite someone who I'm already connected to, and I can't message someone that I'm not. We want to move 3s and 2s into 1s. We want folks that are not connected to us to become part of our network so we can do more stuff with them. So in LinkedIn, this is a search in LinkedIn that's kind of common. An executive level title in a city, in a certain industry. Okay. So this is a pretty common basic search. Now notice even, I have a Sales Navigator account, so I can just click on over. LinkedIn will give you an ad to go buy Sales Navigator and try to get you to, get a trial over there in the upper right corner. But in Sales Navigator, you can do a lot more. And by a lot more, I mean, the head count alone is a killer there. It's just fantastic. I don't want solopreneurs. I only work with folks that are willing to spend 10, 20, 30 grand. Well, that's not a person living at home. Okay. And the big companies up there, they want to buy systems out there that scale to thousands of users. If you don't sell that, now you're somewhere else in the spectrum. This is a common search for me here. I look for folks with 6 or more years of experience in Denver, this size of company. I like the ownership level, that kind of stuff. That's my kind of search. Now, that search creates a gross list, our big, great list of people out there. We want to be picky in terms of who from that list actually gets to go forward. We're going to sort of interview each person on that list and decide if they're included or excluded. Generally speaking, you start out with everyone included and you scratch them off the list using our techniques here. You don't have to put 25 people on a list or 20 out of 25 in a search. You would essentially just scratch 5 people off. It's really fun to kick people off a list. It's really an arduous process to put them on. So we put everyone from the search on a list, and then you can scrub it and take out the folks you don't. It'd be pretty common on a typical search screen that had 25 people on it to eliminate maybe 5 people. So of the 25 that you get to see on each page, you might cut 5 of them out of the equation. They look too small, they don't have a picture, something like that. I'm talking about scrubbing, and scrubbing can be sexy. No, I know it's not, okay? Scrubbing is not sexy, and it's just a matter of checking boxes and unchecking boxes. Yay, they make it great, 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 great. No, it's not like that. It's really boring stuff. Okay? But it goes fast. It goes fast. Scrubbing lists go fast. Okay? And once you do, you have an approved list. This list, everyone on this list is approved for everything I'm going to do. If not, go back and scrub some more. You got a bona fide list here. You agree that these actions are going to be going against this carefully scrubbed list. So that list of folks are going to get some messages from us. This is M in the time system, targeting, including messaging. So these messages here go exactly to those targets there. Real estate messages to real estate people, software messages to software people. But these messages are designed to get a conversation going after people connect and all. So I'll kind of go over the process here, but the process is one of trying to bring people closer to you through words. And Ben, here's my quick little political statement there. That's for you, buddy. The idea is these conversations that are pure words need to feel like this. We use really special words to bring people in. All right. So this is a standard campaign that happens. When we talk about remember I said it, this is it. We invite people we don't know to connect. We send them some messages that might lead to an article or to a video or something. Eventually ask them if they'd like to have a conversation with us. This is the standard kind of campaign that happens. Now, the campaign puts into it messages, and it puts into it targets, a scrubbed list, the zipper. Remember, that's the inputs that goes into this. What comes out of it, the first big thing that comes out of it, is responses. And these are some real responses for me, for my campaigns, no less. You know, some folks like it, some don't. And there's a series of processes that you have to go through with each of these responders. With the positive ones up there, I'm going to show you a little bit more, but on the negative side, you know, you've essentially got to opt that person out. You got to take them out of whatever list they're on. You don't want to next month reach out to them again and say, I'm sorry I reached out to you again. I'm really sorry a third time. You have to take steps to essentially opt them out of your processes here if they choose not to. And that's kind of tricky sometimes. I'll tell you that. That is indeed tricky. The best way is just to not connect to them anymore. You know, I can't send to people I'm not connected to. And in some cases you have to. I thought about it and doing it with Steve here. Might have to eventually here because he's easily get caught up in another search. The technology on LinkedIn doesn't help you create an opt-out list. There's no such thing as a do not send list that you can use. You can add a system tag on it that says don't send to this person, but you can't software-wise do that and exclude them. So we love responders. I do. It's all about responses. That's why you put all that stuff in. If you put all that stuff in and didn't get any responses, you probably wouldn't do it. Now you get some data out of it, some other reasons, you know, that you might, but for the most part, this is why people do stuff. And when we deal with responders, generally speaking, we're going to reply to their response. We're going to respond to the responder, right? And it's just a, you know, right back here. They can see the message above. You get a conversation thread going. When you connect to folks, you also get an email from them. You might choose to send an email. You might choose to do both. And that's the new trend. Send a message that confirms on LinkedIn, thanks for connecting. Also giving them the option to have a relationship with you over email. This is a really hot ticket here. And going with that hot ticket is in Sales Navigator, saving people to a lead list. There's a bunch of features to a lead list here. I'm just not going to go deep and down on it because I see where our time is and stuff. But this is what you would do. You would send a message back, perhaps send an email, but probably put them on a list here so you can monitor them going forward. So if you didn't know, I'm a Who fan. I just saw them in concert again. By the way, had a whole orchestra and everything. Got a new album coming out. Their new single is called Zero Ground Zero. They played it with an orchestra and everything. I love the Who. But, you know, in the who does it part, you know, for the most part, you know, it falls to you. It falls to you first, and then you can figure out how to find someone else to do it. But it falls to you. You got to learn what's part of it here if you're going to have anybody else do any of this stuff for you. I love an assistant who does this. We work with a lot of our clients have an assistant, and the three of us kind of divide up who does what. Oh, you do that, I do this, you know, and over time, things move around a little bit. The assistant might take on more duties over time. You might hire a vendor, okay? For example, we're a vendor. You know, we're a vendor. We do these services for people on an ongoing basis, not just training them up on how to do it for themselves, but we can do parts of it or all of it ongoing for you. So we're getting into the really meaty stuff. This is real beefy stuff. It is to me. I have a lot of enthusiasm anyway, but I really dig this stuff. The how part. I'm a systems engineer. I'm a network engineer, an industrial engineer. So I thrive on this. Where to use a machine, where to use a person, where to. In the end, it's about money. But along the way here, we have lots of things that we put into the system and people who have to do certain parts of it. There's nothing fully automated about everything, but you can automate many aspects of it. This is generally the things that you tend to automate. I want to send invites to people. When they connect, I want to send messages, maybe a couple, maybe a lot. When people respond, I'm going to work with them on the inbox and stuff and make sure that the folks that do respond, you know, the reason I do this in the first place, you know, I follow up on that. And in the end, if you've got a system tool, you can get data for, you know, other systems. So this is what some of these system tools look like. On the left is you on LinkedIn, logging into LinkedIn. There's tools that can run on your local computer, and they have names like Duck Soup or Meet Leonard and stuff. I don't recommend those, and LinkedIn especially doesn't like them. But they're, you know, $20, $30, $40 a month, and they run on your computer, and your computer's tied up doing other things. All kinds of things can go wrong. Okay? But, you know, they created a whole industry, and they deserve recognition for that. I recommend, and I work with tools that run in the cloud. They run as another computer, not your computer. So there's a data center in New York City or somewhere that's logged in as you on LinkedIn. It's running a little script that says, let's invite someone now. And, you know, 10 minutes later, let's send a message. And 17 minutes later, do that and all. They just kind of act like you would during whatever hours of the day you might normally work. Generally, you know, it's 8 to 5, or, you know, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. without a break. Those tools there cost $75 to $197. Okay. So I have two particular products, you know, 75 to 200 bucks are these tools on the right. And all of these scrape data and put them into systems, but the systems, if you don't like uploading and downloading CSV files and renaming files and wonder where is the file and what is it, and you open it up and you find, you know, the cloud tools do a much better job. They create a Google Sheet where the data is just sitting there automatically for you. Now there's quite a bit of configuration that we do for clients to get the data there, but it looks really simple and sweet on your side. There's just a little bit of action we got to do. So all those things I described out there, they don't manage themselves. Somebody has to put the stuff in and know what comes out, set it all up and all. You know, that process comes down to somebody. It comes down to you, the account holder, first. All right. And then you can maybe move that off onto somebody else. So there's a dark side to this. LinkedIn doesn't care for this too much. LinkedIn wants you to sit there on your computer looking at ads on the side of these profiles. And I'm saying, you know, maybe we can use a tool to do that instead, so you don't have to sit there at the keyboard creating page views for LinkedIn, you know, clicking on ads, right? You know, that's their process. They do not like this. But you know, they've been losing in the courts. LinkedIn's been having some issues with, you know, gosh, that data is public data out there. You know, we're showing it to the whole world out there. You can't make it private. There's other things as well. This is right from September 2019. So there's multiple court things probably will go on and stuff, but at least right now they're 0 for 2. So, you know, that's a green light in many people's worlds here. My community out here just loves this article. We talked about the campaigns creating relationships. They connect to people. We send messages to people. We get conversations. We talk to them. We send emails to them. We get that stuff going. But keeping track of that just on LinkedIn is kind of difficult. You know, much of our coaching is about how to keep track of stuff. If you get a message on LinkedIn, for example, you know, how do I get back to that message? Just push down, then down and down. Well, there's ways to bookmark. You can bookmarking systems and all. And that's kind of what we cover in coaching, is how to do that. But the other really big deal, and I ain't on really big stuff. You know, there's one bigger than this, but it's the data. Everybody you touch on LinkedIn using these systems and tools brings data that goes ideally into a CRM system where you can have those other relationships, the email relationships, keeping notes, keeping stuff centralized. And also, as employees come and go, the data that they put into the CRM system stays as they leave. Their profile goes, but guess what? The data that we got from it, from the campaigns, is in the corporate coffers here, creating greater value for the company. This is my favorite part. My favorite part. The future is one where, you know, it's going to get a little harder before it gets a little easier. We're being bombarded with stuff from all these different places, everywhere. And artificial intelligence and software are going to create an inbox that's really beautiful to use, that just has just what we want. Our inbox from Facebook and LinkedIn and Gmail all together in one spot. I'm looking at a record and I can decide, do I want to Facebook them or link them or email them or tweet them or whatever I want to do, whatever action I want to take, all from one spot. The feed, what these people are talking about, all comes into one place. Your network on LinkedIn is sort of intersected with your network in other places with your contacts stuff. This is where it's headed. I'm working on software right now to do that. I'm visiting with some VCs. I've got some action happening. This is where it's going. It's going to be easier. There's a little mini me running in your computer out there that realizes what you want and what you need. And it acts on your behalf with artificial intelligence techniques that are not too far in the future. This stuff is here right now. Unbelievable apps being made. Well, I understand that that's a lot. And maybe you'd like a little bit help. So here's the do-it-yourself help. All right, I've got two great pieces of do-it-yourself help here. This site here, navigatinglinkedin.com. Lots of free guides. You want to get the industry guide there so you're not targeting industries you shouldn't, you know, things of such nature. So let's see. So, all right, just going here. Yes, all right. So next, freebie. And this is really special here. Okay. I have a campaign white paper. It's 20 pages. It's a special PDF file. Okay. And it goes over all the aspects that I covered here. In fact, you'll see some slides from here in the PDF there. You have to email me here or somehow for me to get it to you because I don't have a landing page for this yet. There's not a place. It's not on Navigating LinkedIn yet. It will be in a month or so, but if you want it now, you know, it's a version of this PowerPoint actually that works really, really well here. Okay, so this is kind of what we do. I coach individuals, we train sales teams, just like I described. Okay, all the things that we talked about here are part of a coaching program. They're also part of a done-for-you service program, if you like. And there's plenty of gray areas in between, especially if you have an assistant or something. There's a lot of gray areas. So this is how to reach me. There's my email. There's the Navigating LinkedIn link. I'm available to do 30-minute calls if folks would like. And you know what the topic would be, but I know there's private things that often you don't want to discuss out in front of a group sometimes.